Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jai Nitya Vishnu Vishupad Paramahansa Parivajikacharya Stota Sada Shri Shrimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Vishnu Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajikacharya Stota Sada Shri Shrimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Gaudiya Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shri Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Shri Gangamai Jamuna Mai Ki Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Gaur Premanandi. All glories to some devotees, all glories to some devotees, all glories to the some devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. So Saturday is the day that we get to hear the wonderful pastimes of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We're reading from Madhya Lila, chapter 13, text number 50. I'll just read. Do you usually read the Bengali? What? Okay. Okay, we're reading from text 50. And there's no. When the Sankirtan resounded, it filled the three worlds. Indeed, no one could hear mundane sounds or musical instruments other than the Sankirtan. So we're reading from the Lord's dancing at Rath Yatra. And you see the cart there. And this is a really amazing event. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wandered through all 7 groups, chanting the holy name, Hari, Hari! Raising his arms, he shouted, all glories to Lord Jagannath. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then exhibited another mystic power by performing pastimes simultaneously in all 7 groups. So, let's see, we can get this up for you. Okay. This is what we're looking at. This is in Jagannath Puri, when Lord Chaitanya, not him and his, try and get the mood of what's going on here. Okay.
Accompanying Jagannath on similar chariots are his elder brother Balaram
Okay, we want to do a little backup. This is a special ceremony in which Lord Chaitanya, acting in the mood of Srimati Radharani, is coming back to Vrindavan. This is a pastime. Lord Krishna had left the Vrindavan area and had taken up kingship in many, many places in Dwarka. He had his pastimes with his different, I think, how many wives? 1,000? 16,000? 108. Did everybody get that? So Krishna, of course, expanded himself. But the meaning of this is that Lord Krishna always left his heart in Vrindavan. And therefore, this Rath Yatra festival is Krishna trying to recreate his Vrindavan pastimes and go back to the gopis and experience the real nectar that he is always anxious for. And so in this text 52, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, did we do 51? Okay. Everyone said, quote, Lord Chaitanya is present in my group. Indeed, he does not go anywhere else. He is bestowing his mercy upon us. So there were just 7 groups of devotees, and Lord Chaitanya was in each one of them, and each and every devotee experienced his being right there with them. Text 54. Actually, no one could see the inconceivable potency of the Lord. Only the most confidential devotees, those in pure, unalloyed devotional service, could understand. Lord Jagannath was very pleased by the Sankirtan, and he brought his car to a standstill just to see the performance. This is it's the biggest celebration in the world where millions of people turn out. And it's coming up, I think, in the not-too-distant future. What? In July, yeah. And in this Sankirtan, the Kirtan and Lord Jagannath, so Lord Jagannath is on the cart, and all the devotees are behind the cart and in front of the cart and doing big Kirtan. And so at this point, the cart stops. King Pratarparudra also was astonished to see the Sankirtan. He became inactive and was converted to ecstatic love of Krishna. When the king informed Kashi Mishra of the glories of the Lord, Kashi Mishra replied, O king, your fortune has no limit. The king and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya were both aware of the Lord's activities, but no one else could see the tricks of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Only a person who has received the mercy of the Lord can understand. Without the Lord's mercy, even the demigods headed by Lord Brahma cannot understand. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very satisfied to see the king accept the menial task of sweeping the street, and for this humility the king received the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He could therefore observe the mystery of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's activities. So this is King Pratarparudra, who originally was restricted from seeing and speaking with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even though he was a devotee of the Lord, because he was a man, the king of so-called material things. He would not have his darshan. Purport: the mystery of the Lord's activities is described by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Lord Jagannath was astonished to see the transcendental dancing and chanting of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he stopped his car just to see the dancing. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then danced in such a mystical way that he pleased Lord Jagannath. The seer and the dancer were one, and the same supreme person, but the Lord, being one and many at the same time, was exhibiting the variegatedness of his pastimes. This is the meaning behind his mysterious exhibition. By the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the king could understand how both of them were enjoying each other's activities. Another mysterious exhibition was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's simultaneous presence in 7 groups. By the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the king could understand all this. So you got to visualize as 7 separate groups of devotees, and Lord Chaitanya was there in every one of them. Although the king was refused an interview, see, the Lord would not speak with him originally when he came to get his darshan, even though he was a devotee of the Lord, because the king meant material things. And so at this point in the kirtan, the king was indirectly bestowed causeless mercy. Who can understand the internal potency of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was playing the part of a world teacher, he did not agree to see the king because the king is a mundane person interested in money and women. Indeed, the very name king suggests one who is always surrounded by money and women. As a sannyasi, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was afraid of both money and women. The very word king is repugnant to one who is in the renounced order of life. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu refused to see the king, but indirectly, by the Lord's causeless mercy, the king was able to understand the Lord's mysterious activities. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's activities were exhibited sometimes to reveal him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and sometimes to show him as a devotee. Both kinds of activity are mysterious and appreciated only by pure devotees. When the 2 great personalities, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Kashi Mishra, saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's causeless mercy upon the king, they were astonished. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed his pastimes for some time in this way. He personally sang and induced his personal associates to dance. According to his need, the Lord sometimes exhibited one form and sometimes many. This was being executed by his internal potency. Indeed, the personality of Godhead forgot himself in the course of his transcendental active pastimes, but his internal potency, Lila Shakti, knowing the intentions of the Lord, made all arrangements. Purport. It is stated in the Upanishads, Parasya Shaktir Vividai Vishuyate Swabhavika Jnana Balakriya Cha. The Lord has multi-potencies which act so perfectly that all consciousness, strength, and activity are being directly solely by his will. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited his mystic power in presenting himself simultaneously in each and every Sankirtan group. Most people thought that he was one, but some saw that he was many. The internal devotees could understand that the Lord, although one, was exhibiting himself as many in the different Sankirtan groups. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced, he forgot himself and was simply absorbed in ecstatic bliss. His internal potency arranged everything perfectly. This is the difference between the internal and external potency. In the material world, the external potency, material energy, can act only after one endeavors at great length. But when the Supreme Lord desires, everything is performed automatically by the internal potency. By his will, things happen so nicely and perfectly, they appear to be carried out automatically. Sometimes the activities of the internal potency are exhibited in the material world. In fact, all the activities of material nature are actually performed by the inconceivable energies of the Lord. But so-called scientists and students of material nature are unable to understand ultimately how things are happening. They evasively conclude that everything is being done by nature, but they do not know that behind nature is the potent, supreme personality of Godhead. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Maya dakshina prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena konteya jagat viparivartate. This material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and is producing all moving and non-moving beings. By its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Bhagavad Gita 9:10. Text 66. Just as Lord Sri Krishna formerly performed the Rasa Leela dance and other pastimes of Vrindavan, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed uncommon pastimes moment after moment. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing before the Ratha Yatra cart could be perceived only by pure devotees. Others could not understand. Description of Lord Krishna's uncommon dancing can be found in the revealed scriptures of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, this dancing and chanting was the process from the very beginning. When Srila Prabhupada first came here, what did he do? He sat down under a tree and all he had was a bongo drum and he just started chanting. And from that chanting, the process of Krishna consciousness and the Krishna consciousness movement began. So this is very important to understand that Krishna's internal potency is totally available in the transcendental kirtan of the holy name. And I can remember very fondly when I first joined the movement in New York, we had a regular program of going out every day except Sunday. And why not Sunday? Well, Sunday was the day that we reaped all the fruits of the kirtans that went on for 8 to 10 hours every morning at 10 a.m. Shortly after breakfast, we would all get in a van and we would go to Central Park and that was the main park, and then we went to the other one, 34th Street, right? And and we did constant kirtan, and that kirtan not only uplifted us, but everyone surrounding us. And we would pass out, just like we're going to do today at Weaver Street at 11:30 to 1. For an hour and a half, we're going to be distributing lots of mercy, but most notably the holy name. So this is very potent. This is how the Hare Krishna movement, it's called the Hare Krishna movement, because it was started by the chanting of the holy names. So this is how Krishna manifests his internal potency through the chanting of the holy name. That's why at least once a day, somehow or other, I make it a point to get to some kirtan, because by experiencing the ecstatic kirtan in front of the deities with the devotees, one's consciousness is uplifted off the mundane platform, and we are again situated in the internal potency of the Lord. This is the real workout that we didn't have to go to Planet Fitness. Every day we were chanting and dancing like crazy for at least 8 hours. And then on Sunday, every single devotee in the temple, more or less, except for the pujari and some of the cleaners, we were in the kitchen making really opulent feasts. I'm talking about 10 or 12 course feasts. And then when the Sunday feast began at 5 p.m., we started with the Gora Arti. Remember that? The Gora Arti? That, and all the people that we had met throughout the week, Monday through Saturday, those that were sincere would come to the kirtan and experience the association of the deities, Radha Govinda, and here Radha Golokananda. And by that process of chanting and dancing, we connect with the internal potency of the Lord. And that's what gives the bliss. That's because Krishna has descended in the holy name. And as we can see here, Krishna manifests in the different dancings of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. We'll continue. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing before the Rath Yatra car could be perceived only by pure devotees. Others could not understand. Descriptions of Lord Krishna's uncommon dancing can be found in the revealed scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Sri Krishna expanded himself into many forms while engaged in the Rasa Leela dance, and he also expanded when he married 16,000 wives in Dwarka. The same process was adopted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he expanded himself into 7 forms to dance in each and every group of the Sankirtan party. These expansions were appreciated by pure devotees, including King Prachapuruja. Although for reasons of external formality, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu refused to see King Prachapuruja because he was a king. King Prachapuruja became one of the Lord's most confidential devotees by the Lord's special mercy upon him. The king could see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu simultaneously present in all 7 groups. As confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, one cannot see the expansions of the transcendental forms of the Lord unless one is a pure devotee of the Lord. Thus, Lord Jagannath mounted his cart, and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inspired all his devotees to dance in front of it. Now please hear about Lord Jagannath going to the Gundicha temple while Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced before the Rath Yatra cart. The Lord performed kirtan for some time, and through his own endeavor inspired all the devotees to dance. When the Lord himself wanted to dance, all 7 groups combined together. The Lord's devotees, including Srivas, Ramai, Raghu, Govinda, Mukunda, Haridas, Govinda Nandana, Madhava, and Govinda, all combined together. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu desired to jump high while dancing, he placed these 9 people in the charge of Swarup Damodar. These devotees, Swarup Damodar and the devotees in his charge, sang along with the Lord, and they also ran behind him. All the other groups of men also sang. Offering obeisances to the Lord with folded hands, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu raised his face toward Jagannath and prayed as follows. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Krishna, who is the worshipful deity for all Brahminical men, who is the well-wisher of cows and brahmanas, and who is always benefiting the whole world. I offer my repeated obeisances to the personality of Godhead, known as Krishna and Govinda. This is a quotation from the Vishnu Purana. Sorry? Oh, Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanya Taya Cha Jagalataya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Yes, all the time, including when we offer obeisances and offer food, offer Krishna prasadam. So, Jayati, okay. All glories unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as the Son of Devaki. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as the light of the dynasty of Vrishni. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose bodily luster is like that of a new cloud, and his body is as soft as a lotus flower. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared on this planet to deliver the world from the burden of demons, and who can offer liberation to everyone. This is a verse from the Mukunda Mala. Lord Sri Krishna is he who is known as Jana Nivasa, the ultimate resort of all living entities, and who is also known as Devaki Nandana or Yashoda Nandana, the son of Devaki and Yashoda. He is the guide of the Yadu dynasty, and with his mighty arms he kills everything inauspicious, as well as every man who is impious. By his presence he destroys all things inauspicious for all living entities. Moving and inert, his blissful, smiling face always increases the lusty desires of the gopis of Vrindavan. May he be glorious and happy. Text number 80. I am not a Brahmana, I am not a Kshatriya, I am not a Vaishya or a Sudra, nor am I a brahmachari, a householder, a vanaprastha, or a sannyasi. I identify myself only as the servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. He is like an ocean of nectar, and he is the cause of universal transcendental bliss. He is always existing with brilliance. This verse is found in the Pajavali 74. Having recited all these verses from Scripture, the Lord again offered his obeisances, and all the devotees with folded hands also offered prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced and jumped high, roaring like thunder, and moving in a circle like a wheel, he appeared like a circling firebrand. Purport: if a burning cinder of a firebrand is whirled about very swiftly, it gives the appearance of a circle of fire. This is called alata ala akara, or a firebrand circle. This whole circle is not actually made of fire, but is a single fire in motion. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a single personality, but when he danced and jumped high in a circle, he appeared like the Alata Chakra. What a wonderful kirtan, can you imagine? Whenever Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stepped while dancing, the whole earth with its hills and seas appeared to tilt. Oh my God. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced, he displayed various blissful transcendental changes in his body. Sometimes he appeared as though stunned. Sometimes the hairs of his body stood on end. Sometimes he perspired, cried, trembled, and changed color. And sometimes he exhibited symptoms of helplessness, pride, exuberance, and humility. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell down with a crash while dancing, he rolled it on the ground. At such times it appeared that a golden mountain was rolling on the ground. Nityananda Prabhu would stretch out his two hands and try to catch the Lord when he was running here and there. Advaita Acharya would walk behind the Lord and loudly chant, Haribo! 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 Again and again. Just to check the crowds from coming too near the Lord, they formed 3 circles. The first circle was guided by Nityananda Prabhu, who is Balaram himself, the possessor of great strength. All the devotees, headed by Kashishvara and Govinda, linked hands and formed a second circle around the Lord. Maharaj Prataparudra and his personal assistants formed a third circle around the 2 inner circles, just to check the crowd from coming too near. With his hands on the shoulders of Harichandra, King Prataparudra could see Lord Chaitanya dancing, and the king felt great ecstasy. While the king beheld the dancing, Srivas Thakur, standing in front of him, became ecstatic as he saw the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Seeing Srivas Thakur standing before the king, Harichandra touched Srivas with his hand and requested him to step aside. Absorbed in watching Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dance, Srivas Thakur could not understand why he was being touched and pushed. After he was pushed again and again, he became angry. Srivas Thakur slapped Harichandra to stop him from pushing him. In turn, this made Harichandra angry. As the angered Harichandra was about to speak to Srivas Thakur, Prataparudra Maharaj personally stopped him. King Prataparudra said, "You are very fortunate, for you have been graced by the touch of Srivas Thakur. I am not so fortunate. You should feel obliged to him." Everyone was astonished by the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and even Lord Jagannath became extremely happy to see him. The car came to a complete standstill and remained immobile, while Lord Jagannath, with unblinking eyes, watched the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we're seeing how the Jagannath cart just stopped so that Lord Jagannath could get the experience of seeing Lord Chaitanya dancing in this firebrand. And the goddess of fortune, Subhadra, and Lord Balaram both felt great happiness and ecstasy within their hearts. Indeed, they were smiling at the dancing. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced and jumped high, 8 wonderful transformations indicative of divine ecstasy were seen in his body. All these symptoms were visible simultaneously. What are these experiences? Divine transformations. His skin erupted with goose pimples, all right? And the hairs of his body stood on end. His body resembled the shimuli, silk cotton tree, all covered with thorns. Anybody ever had that experience? Indeed, the people became afraid to see his teeth chatter. They even thought that his teeth would fall out. Oh my God. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's whole body flowed with perspiration and at the same time oozed blood. He made the sounds, Jaga, 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 Gaga, in a voice choked with ecstasy. Tears came forcefully from the eyes of the Lord as if from a syringe, and all the people surrounding him became wet. Everyone saw the complete complexion of his body change from white to pink. so that his luster resembled that of the malika flower. Sometimes he appeared stunned, and sometimes he rolled on the ground. Indeed, sometimes his legs and hands became as hard as dry wood, and he did not move. When the Lord fell on the ground, sometimes his breathing almost stopped. When the devotees saw this, their lives also became very feeble. So this is I'm just actually going back in time to remembering an experience that has maintained and sustained me throughout my devotional career. It was 1971 Vyas Puja, the first that Prabhupada had his Vyas Puja in New Vrindavan. And Vishnujan Swami was leading samsara prayers, and he chanted them, and then he chanted Jai Shri Krishna, and then he went into Hare Krishna. And immediately after the first Hare Krishna mantra from Vishnujan Swami, Prabhupada took over the microphone and started leading the Hare Krishna mantra, just to give you a little understanding of the potency of the holy name. At that point in time, when Prabhupada took over the kirtan, over 200 to 300 devotees that were sitting down in chairs in front of Prabhupada's, there was a big stage that had the Radha Damodar deities. Prabhupada was on it with Vishnujan Swami. Immediately, when Prabhupada took over the kirtan, waves of ecstasy hit every one of us, and we were crying and whimpering and just experiencing like this amazing kirtan that Prabhupada had brought from Goloka Vrindavan. And devotees just, we were crying and weeping, and it just went on like that for like maybe a half hour, 40 minutes. And then Prabhupada ended the kirtan, and the devotees who were in the kitchen had baked a huge banana cake, and it was on, they were lifting it and trying to get it up to Srila Prabhupada, but they had to go through a whole crowd of devotees, and each and every devotee was grabbing like anything that banana cake. And by the time it got to Prabhupada, there was just a little piece, a few crumbs. So the devotees had to go back and cook a whole new batch of the cake, and Prabhupada got the mercy. But this is just a little experience that I want to share with the devotees. It's actually on, there was cassettes made of that kirtan, and you can hear the devotees just really flowing with the holy name. And that one experience I had has totally sustained and maintained me throughout my devotional career through difficulties, hell and high water. If I just remember that kirtan, I'll never forget the agony and the ecstasy of the holy name chanted by a pure devotee. And this is why at least once a day I try and get myself to the temple to experience at least the greeting of the deities and hear the kirtan, because it's so important. This movement is based on the chanting of the holy names and Golokera Premadana Harinam Sankirtan. The holy name, Krishna, appears in his holy name in this mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And immediately the whole atmosphere becomes surcharged with spiritual energy. So we invite you all to come today from 11:30 to 1 and experience that wonderful kirtan at Weaver Street. And you can shop afterwards. Does anyone have any comments or questions? We have 5 minutes. Anybody want to share? Or anyone have a question? Okay, keep reading. All glories unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known. Okay, I read that one. What text? Oh, wow. Text 109. Water flowed from his eyes and sometimes through his nostrils, and foam fell from his mouth. These flowings appeared to be torrents of nectar descending from the moon. Oh, wow. Devotees got to drink that nectar, I imagine. The foam which fell down from the mouth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was taken and drunk by Shubhananda because he was very fortunate and expert in relishing the mellow of ecstatic love of Krishna. After performing his devastating dance for some time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mind entered into a mood of ecstatic love. After abandoning the dancing, the Lord ordered Swarup Damodar to sing. Understanding his mind, Swarup Damodar began to sing as follows. Now I have gained the Lord of my life, in the absence whom I was being burned by Cupid and was withering away. This song refers to Srimati Radharani's meeting with Krishna at the holy place of Kurukshetra, where Lord Sri Krishna and his brother and sister came to visit when there was a solar eclipse. It is a song of separation from Krishna. When Radharani met Krishna in Kurukshetra, she remembered his intimate association in Vrindavan, and she thought, now I have gained the Lord of my life. In his absence I was being burned by the arrow of Cupid, and thus I was withering away. Now I have my life again. When this refrain was loudly sung by Swarup Damodar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again began rhythmically dancing in transcendental bliss. The car of Lord Jagannath began to move slowly, while the son of Mother Sachi went ahead and danced in front. While dancing and singing, all the devotees in front of Lord Jagannath kept their eyes on him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then went to the end of the procession with the Sankirtan movement. His eyes and mind fully absorbed in Lord Jagannath, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to play the drama of the song with his two arms. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dramatically enacting the song, he would sometimes fall behind in the procession. At such times, Lord Jagannath would come to a standstill. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again went forward, Lord Jagannath's cart would slowly start again. Thus there was a time of competition between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Jagannath in seeing who would lead. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so strong that he made Lord Jagannath wait in his cart. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Golokananda ki.
Adipurusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Namaham Bhajami Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Agung Ramaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Anandani Asa Sakalem Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Amaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Amaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham 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 Bhajami
Sister Radha Goloka Nanda Ki Jai. Page 77. Gokula Nandana Kana Vasavati Nandana Yasumati Nandana Vrajavaram Nagara Gokularam Janna Nana Madana Manohara Madana Manohara Ayo Kaliya Damona Vidana Ayo Kaliya Damona Vidana Amalaharina Mamiya Vilasa Amalaharina Mamiya Vilasa Vipina Purandara Navina Nagara Bora Vansi Vadana Subhasa Vipina Purandara Navina Nagara Bora Vansi Vadana Subhasa Rajajana Palana Sura Kulana Sana. Rajajana Palana Sura Kulana Sana. Nanda Godanara Koala. Nanda Godanara Koala. Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara. Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara. Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara. Dharananda Gopala. Dharananda Gopala. Dharananda Gopala. Jamuna Tatachara Gopi Vasanahara Rasa Rasika Kripamoya. Jamuna Tatachara Gopi Vasanahara Rasa Rasika Kripamoya. Jamuna Tatachara Gopi Vasanahara Rasa Rasika Kripamoya. Sri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natavara. Sri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natavara. Amala Harinam Mamiya Vilasa. Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara.